Okay, so, yeah, this video is going to be a little late compared to, my usual Monday upload. But that's okay, because as you can tell by the chopper on my head, I actually went to Dallas for the One Piece Day that was going on there. I participated in the regional that also happened down in Dallas. I didn't do particularly well, but that's okay. The important thing was I had a weekend away, surrounded by One Piece fans, and now I'm refreshed and ready to start anew with a new chapter. Hello, Internet. I am the hero of Julios, once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1142, What I'm Afraid of. And, yeah, that's an ominous title, if anything. The art this week is Yamato, continuing on the pilgrimage. Yeah, it's exactly what I predicted would happen. Yamato defeated Who's Who with a Thunder Bagara and a single hit. With the statement of, give back the sword and the girls. So, Yamato doesn't care about the carpenter that went missing, apparently. But also, Yamato doesn't really seem interested in the infighting. My guess is inadvertently saving Ulti and Page 1 might earn their loyalty, or we might have a second fight on our hands if this power vacuum continues to suck things along. But that's pretty much all we got for that. The chapter starts off pretty heavy. The children are being attacked by a giant snake. One of the kids even mentions that this must be Jormungandr, the legendary giant snake that's gonna end the week. And the other kid's like, you mean this snake brings Saturday? No, so in the Norse mythology, Jormungandr is the giant world-eating snake that is going to end the world at some point in the future. So as the children are being terrorized by this giant snake of death, we have, Ange is informed by the math teacher, who I have written down here, Mr. Blade, who also tells Principal Tusk that the children are being attacked by this giant snake, and the three of them go to investigate what's going on. Saul is already there waiting for them, and they actually fight the dang thing. So Principal Tusk takes this massive hammer, slams it in the chin, sending it skyward, and Saul hits him with an attack called Midterm Exam. We see that he coats his hand in hockey and pounds the snake back into the ground. So, we knew that all vice admirals have hockey, at least observation and armament hockey. So it's not a surprise that Saul can do this, but it is nice to see him actually do it. The children are even impressed at how strong the principal and how strong Mr. Saul are, because they had only heard rumors that Mr. Saul was a Marine, and apparently Mr. Tusk, the principal of the school, was a former member of the Giant Warrior Pirates. So when Dory and Broggy had their duel and their crew kind of disbanded, he was among the ones that went back to Elbaf, and he's probably also a part of the group that took down Loki. More on that later. So after the snake's defeated, they're immediately met with more trouble as they find the PE teacher. He is Mr. Wolf. He was taken down horribly. He's covered in blood, and he just tells them, don't worry about me, you gotta go save the children, because I guess a bunch of the kids got taken away. One of the kids notices in Saul's beard that Robin and Chopper are here. Asks Robin, are you friends with Luffy? And she went, yeah. And the kid flees immediately. She's like, oh, Luffy did something to you, didn't he? So, these are the kids that saw Luffy, rough house with Colin, and he's the one that took the kids up high on the swing. I'm pretty sure this is one of the kids that was taken on the swing. Regardless, though, Robin and Chopper are here. They're in Saul's beard. And Robin asks about the giant snake, saying that, is this also where giant monsters appear? And Saul says, honestly, we have our share of wild animals in Elbaf, but we don't usually have monsters in the day realm. We usually only have them down in the underworld. So, that being said, we have to go find those kids, and as they go to look for the children, Mr. Wolf tells them, don't touch the children. I'm not sure why we can't touch the children, but he doesn't really elaborate on it. We do see where the children are going, though. They are sleepwalking. They are being led. We see one of Gunko's arrows pointing in a direction, so maybe there's a second arrow we can't see off camera that's sort of like guiding them to a specific location. Regardless, the children are sleepwalking, and the children that are nearby that are awake actually collapse themselves. Chopper's going to examine them, but that's pretty much all the information we get on what's going on with the kids right now. But this is an unprecedented moment, and a massive warning horn is sounded, as the principal says, sound the warning horn. All of Elbaf needs to know about this. At first, Saul's kind of skeptical on that. He's like, I mean, there was a giant snake, sure, but is it really worth warning all of Elbaf? Until they look out into the wilderness and they see great beasts, the shadows of them appearing among the trees. Speaking of trees and the dangers that can be provided to trees, Loki is up, and he's got a big hammer. I thought it was a sword, but I guess I was wrong. Loki has this giant hammer, and he tells Luffy and Zoro, hey, you should probably undo this fourth chain, because, yeah, it's Sea Prism, yeah, it's gonna, hold me back a little, but it's not gonna do much, and, if you want to save Elbaf, you better undo that chain. Till then, I'm just gonna swing this thing blindly until I hit stuff, and bring about fire and lightning, and I'm sure you know about Elbaf's weakness, as he slams the hammer into the tree, the world tree, the, atom tree, and the preceding rupture causes a massive fire to break out. So this hammer's not called Mjolnir, but it's basically Mjolnir. It's a giant lightning-bringing hammer that causes fire when it strikes a tree made of wood, and chaos is just ensuing everywhere. So yeah, we get to the capital of Elbaf, and they're like, oh my gosh, there's a giant fire down in the underworld. Monsters are reported, being sighted over by the school. How could this get any worse? Well, it gets worse, as Ange realizes where she saw these monsters. Yeah, so as a mental exercise, Ange had the children draw what they're afraid of, because it's good to visualize your fears so that you can better face them. It's gloomy to think about the worst that could happen, but at the same time, if you're not mentally prepared for the things you're afraid of, they're going to catch you far off guard. So this is good, even in peaceful times, to remember that things can scare you. One of the kids even mentions that if we keep talking about scary things, I'm going to have nightmares, which is okay. But the kids talk about all sorts of things. They believe they're afraid ghosts are going to end Elbaf. They're afraid Jormungandr is going to end Elbaf. They're afraid Nika's going to end Elbaf. One kid is afraid his mom is going to end Elbaf. But whatever the kids are afraid of, Ange realizes that the monsters that are appearing look just like the children's drawings. So we see these giant nightmarish shapes. We even see like a little old lady in the corner. But these nightmarish shapes have become the monsters that are attacking Elbaf right now. These monsters seem to be the result of Killingham's abilities, which is interesting because from what I understand, he looks like a Chi-Lin, if I'm saying that right. I don't think that is a creature that has to do with dreams, so maybe Killingham was making preparations and Sommers was the one causing the nightmares to come to life. Whatever the reasons, though, Killingham says, like, this is the final preparation, everything's complete. We'll use the children walking to the shore as our time limit, and yeah, once everything's ready, and he falls asleep again. So maybe it is Killingham's powers, and he has some kind of nightmare-related devil fruit. Maybe his form doesn't look exactly like the mythological creature people think it does. I'm not exactly sure what the details are until Oda really goes into an explanation on these guys. But as it stands right now, it seems like they're using the children's fears as a weapon, which, if one of them has a devil fruit that allows nightmares to come to life, that throws out my theory of the nightmare fruit. So I'll have to start thinking about something else if that's the case. I have to say the most interesting part of all this, though, would have to be the last line said in this chapter, where Sommers, just out of curiosity because of all these nightmares running around, asks Gunko, "What are you most afraid of?" And Gunko actually answers him, "Nika." Gunko is afraid of Nika. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is just Gunko's fear or if it's all the God's Knights fear Nika, but there has to be a reason Odaf focused on that conversation specifically, that Sommers would ask such a specific question. If they're, members of the God's Knights, shouldn't they all be close enough to each other to know what their fears are already? Or is Gunko a new member? For example, a lot of people are theorizing that Gunko is a former revolutionary because of the whole goggles on her head, so they might actually not know a lot about each other. However, I like to think that this is because Gunko might actually be a good person, and I'm leaning on the side that she might actually be a spy for Dragon. However it turns out, she's afraid of Nika, and I'm not exactly sure why. So let me know in the comments what you're afraid of, because I'm afraid of running into too many purple Luffys, because I main Shanks, and, well, that's kind of a rough matchup. Although, set 10's about to come out for the card game, so maybe I'll change into something that is afraid of a different deck. Regardless, though, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.